Hey guys, Feuerrm here, and today I'm going to be testing the Ford Shelby GR-1 in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. Now this is one of the 5 cars that are in the Rimac special event. Now my Feuerrm GR1, Ital Design, and ZR1 are all 3-starred. This is because that is what the required rank is for them in the special event. You don't have to take them higher than that. And because I want to be as efficient with my syndicate coins as possible and not waste any of them, I am not spending any more than I have to on these cars yet, because I know the upgrades for the Rimac are expensive, and the packs probably will be as well. I'm recording this a couple days before the video goes live, so by then I may have gotten to the Rimac packs. I am approximately 2/3 of the way through Stalwart Monkey 4, so yeah, I should be getting to them pretty soon. I completed all the pinned missions for the GR1 and Ital Design, and currently I am sitting at around 300,000 to 400,000 syndicate coins, and I am prepared to spend tokens on the relay packs if I have to. I really want to get this Rimac after not being able to get the Jesco. So how is the GR1? Well, it is not a king of its class, but it is very good and a good competitor to cars like the Acura and the Pininfarina and the Alfieri. Although I would assume that the Vencer and Aranera will still beat it on most tracks due to them being quite a bit faster. This one at 3 stars is 206, and at max I believe it's around 208. The big thing I noticed when I first drove this car, which was at max actually, was that it felt very wobbly. Not so much that it was unstable, but just that when you turned, the car really went from side to side a lot. It reminded me a lot of the Corvette C3 from Asphalt 8. And speaking of Asphalt 8, apparently, because the Jesco in that game was at tier 25, the final tier of the Winter Festival, you had to spend $200 on the game to get that car. At least that's what I've seen around. Man, Asphalt 8 is just going downhill fast. But this is an Asphalt 9 video, and so we're here to talk about Asphalt 9. In the previous race, we beat a 3700 rank Corvette Grand Sport, and in this race, we are facing a 3500 Corvette and a 3700 VLF. Some of you may be wondering why I'm testing a C-Class car in Platinum League against a bunch of B and A-Class cars that are definitely a lot better. Some of you may know the answer already because I've explained this a bit in previous videos, but basically it's because in rush seasons, the players that you face are at average lower skill than you would find in other seasons because it is not a skill-based season in order to get to higher ranks. You just have to basically make podium positions enough and then you can climb up. Because you don't really have to worry about losing rating. If you don't do as well, you just won't go up as much, and that means you're still going up. So pretty much in these seasons, it's just up and up. Now, what I'm doing to counteract this is going against cars themselves that are better. So I'm hoping sort of the skill and car performance imbalance kind of even each other out. And it worked really well, and that is why when I test cars in rush seasons, I will generally test them in a league of cars 1 or 2 above them. Like I was testing the Ital Design also, which is going to be an upcoming video, and I was actually testing it in Legend League. And it wasn't going terribly, and it's only 3 stars, so that just goes to show in rush season, you really can do a lot better with lower cars than you can do in non-rush seasons. And I'll probably be testing the ZR1 in Legend League as well, possibly also the Rimac, although I would like a more skill-based season in order to test that in, because it is the second best car in the game. And I am really expecting them to make one, because they've generally done that in the past for cars that are really good or have had special events or whatever, so we'll probably see that. Now the Feuerrm, well, that would just not go well in Legend League at all, so I'm probably going to wait till the beginning of the next rush season in order to test that car, but it will be coming. So after beating 2 Corvettes and a VLF above 3500 rank, we are finally facing a nearly 3800 rank VLF who was a very good driver, and this led to one of the closest races that I had in the entirety of the rush season. Somehow I was still catching up to him a slight bit throughout this section, but he went a slightly longer way, and that's what allowed me to catch up to, well, pretty much right behind him. I knew that if I did this right, I could probably pass him before the end. This has happened on this track before, but I also knew that car is like 32 miles per hour faster than mine. So I landed right next to him, playing clean like I always try to do the brake nitro trick, but his car is just faster, and there's not really anything you can do about that in this case, so I come in second, but right behind him after a very close little bit there on the beach. Now, this next race here is definitely the best comeback race I did in the season, and probably one of my best comebacks for a while now. Our competition isn't especially crazy. We've got a Vulcan, a LaFerrari, and a GTR, all of which are better than this one still though. You have to remember, this is the C-Class car against A-Class ones. One annoying thing about rush seasons is that people tend to drift all over the place at the beginning of the races, and this Vulcan hits me right smack dab into the middle of these two roads here. So I'm back into 6 out of 6 position with a bunch of better cars ahead of me, except for the Elise, which honestly is still pretty good on Rome. I suppose my expectation of this race at this time was that if I tried hard enough, I would most likely be able to catch up to and pass the few cars that were right ahead of me, and here I managed to pass 1 or 2 of them. But there was one player, the Nissan GTR, who was many seconds ahead of me, and I really didn't think I would be able to catch up to him unless he made a mistake, like say he wrecked or something, in which case I would probably have a chance. The GR-1 is not actually a bad car for Rome, which is probably the only reason that I'm able to catch up like the way that I have. Its handling is actually quite good, surprisingly, and its nitro efficient is decent, as well as its top speed for C-Class being enough for most cases. However, its weakest point is likely its acceleration. I found that at the beginning of most races, even at 3 out of 4 stars, pretty much everybody was pulling ahead. And as you might be able to imagine, this makes it a lot more difficult to deal with a car that's slower than the rest of them as well if you get ahead of them at the beginning. So here, because he flat spins, I managed to get ahead at the very last second and come in first place, right in front of him. This might be a slightly unpopular opinion, but I'm very glad that Gameloft has decided to put Osaka in multiplayer right when the track came out, because this gives everybody a very early way to learn the track by playing it over and over again in multiplayer, by basically being forced to learn it in order to do well. This means that everybody will end up knowing the track better than they would otherwise, and I know it has helped me a lot, because I've found that overall, I know the tracks a lot better than I did, just a week ago. And for anybody who is maybe having some trouble learning the track, what I would recommend, one way of doing this is turning on touch drive. I know I pretty much say never to do that, but it's a good way to learn the tracks because it keeps you on the tracks. It's not going to let you fly off or do anything weird like that. And you can basically choose to see what you can do at each step. And then you will pretty much learn at least the layout of the track, maybe not necessarily the best route, but say you're having trouble with flying off of it or something like that some people have done. That's one way that you can more easily learn where you need to go at each point at least. That, I would say, is the one truly useful reason to use touch drive, to learn confusing tracks. Now, I didn't do that because I simply don't like touch drive and pretty much refuse to use it, but I am sure it could help some people out, so I want to tell you about this option. So after getting caught up among the ruckus near the beginning of the race, we finally pull away from the pack and managed to take the victory in this race. Now, if that one guy hadn't wrecked near the end before all the overpasses and stuff, who knows what would have happened. It might have been a little bit of a different story, but I still think it would have been pretty close. Now for our final race in the video, in which we are against, well, one of this car's main competitors actually, the Pininfarina, and it's interesting to see 2 other C-Class cars, the same one, in one race, in Platinum League. Yeah, I don't remember this ever happening any other time in the season. I got off to a bit of a rough start, not even being able to get Shockwave because of missing a Nitro, but I finally settled into my main route. Also in this race is a 3300 rank Apollo N, so he's the speedy one here. So since this is the final race in the video, it's time for my general review about this car. Or basically to sum up everything that I've talked about it in this video, it is a high-end C-Class car, good competitor to Acura, Pininfarina, Alfieri, not so much Vencer and Aranera. It has very good handling, top speed is decent, nitro is decent as well, acceleration weakest point. I would say it is an above average car for multiplayer, at least among good competitive cars, because of its good handling and good nitro efficiency. However, you do have to remember that at the beginning of a race, there will be a lot of people getting ahead of you and perhaps bumping you from behind, so you need to be aware of that and possibly use nitro a little bit sooner than you are used to. And that is one thing that you should do in the Senna season. Well, by the time this video comes out, the Senna season will be over. I learned to do that after you guys told me all about that in the comments of the video, so yes, thank you for that. So we come in this race in first place. Thank you for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed and consider subscribing for more Asphalt, Forza, Minecraft, and Need for Speed Heat content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.